from inflation and a slowing economy. The company also will divest its first-party vehicle services business. It's expecting workers in that division to be offered positions by the buyer. Liftos had already said it would freeze hiring in the U.S. until at least next year to rein in costs. We'll see how a squeeze on consumer spending has impacted the company's outlook. Lift out with its third quarter results on Monday.
All right, 33 minutes past the hour. Let's get a check of market action, what we can expect today. Nikkei futures are at 27,260. That's about 400 points below the cash close the day before yesterday. We had that holiday yesterday celebrating culture in Japan. Right now, Australian futures down, as mentioned, about 0.4%. China futures are up 0.6%. If October was all about the Party Congress in China, the flavor of the month this month for Chinese stock markets seems to be about speculation around the nation's reopening. However, that said, we did have declines yesterday. The CSI 300 was down about 0.8%. But again, the futures are up this morning. Hang Seng Index futures are up about 1.5%. In the currency markets, the Bloomberg dollar spot is steady. Dollar yen 148.16. The euro trading at 97.50 U.S. cents. And we had a drop in the pound. Right now, pound sterling at $1.1161. And part of that was that, well, we just played the clip for you there. Andrew Bailey saying that don't expect that we're going to be doing 75 basis points every time, even though it did deliver that, and it was the biggest increase in some 33 years. Yield on the 10-year 4.14%, the 2-year at 4.71. So that quick inversion, 57 basis points. We're back at early 1980 levels in terms of those predictions about recession coming. And that is a check of markets. Rashad.
Yep, but we are coming up to 25 minutes to the top of the hour. The FBI, New Jersey State, and New York City responding to threats against the Jewish community. Ed Baxter has global news. What's going on here, Ed?
Yeah, they don't know exactly what yet, but they are really being very careful, Rish. Let's start with the FBI, saying that it has received information of a broad threat to New Jersey synagogues, saying it is taking proactive measures. Governor Phil Murphy, New Jersey, meanwhile, says it is a credible threat. He says he has been in touch with multiple law enforcement agencies to make sure that all houses of worship are protected. And now, New York Police Department is saying it is paying close attention. It is saying it has received no specific threats, but it is gathering information from New Jersey officials. These kinds of threats occur at times after anti-Semitic posts like we have seen recently from Kyrie Irving and earlier Kanye West. South Korea and U.S. are warning that if Kim Jong-un uses nuclear weapons, it will be the end of his regime. The response from the United States to Kim Jong-un's missile launch barrage is something that will, well, not make him very happy.
On the peninsula, we're returning to large-scale exercises to strengthen our combined readiness and our ability to fight tonight if necessary.
And Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, in consultation with South Korea, extending the exercise period of Vigilant Storm.
We are focused on making sure that they don't choose to employ a nuclear weapon or choose to attack South Korea.
Austin says highly unfortunate that the DPRK has chosen this path and warns Kim against going down the path toward nuclear weapons, says that if he does, it'll be the end of his regime. U.S. officials were able to meet with WNBA star Brittany Griner in Russia for the first time in about 3 months. White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says she seems to be fine.
We're told she is doing as well as can be expected under the circumstances.
Yeah, Griner is serving jail time in Russia on drug charges. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz endeavoring to do a solo mission to China. German companies do much business in China, and Scholz is trying to walk a fine line between economic and geopolitical issues. Bloomberg's Christoph Rowald reporting Scholz feels that the time has to be now.
Doing the same in China, if, for example, the conflict in Taiwan were to escalate, that's something that would be much more difficult to pull off just because of the sheer size of the industrial operations that German companies do have in China.
Now, this mission is, of course, very controversial, and the EU, which has taken a much harder stance the EU has toward human rights in China. U.S. President Joe Biden says while the battle in courts over student loan forgiveness continues, applications continue to come in.
This is a game changer for so many people. We're hearing from people all over the country about how easy it is to apply. Close to 26 million Americans have already applied.
Biden is out on the campaign trail with just days left before the midterm elections. And Stanford University here in the Bay Area acknowledging some missteps in a case of a man who pretended to be a student and lived in several dorms on campus for the last 10 months. 20-year-old William Curry, who is an Alabama native, had lived in at least 5 dorms off and on. Stanford Daily reporter Theo Baker says, well, there are a lot of questions.
According to his ex-girlfriend, he was providing alcohol in exchange for basically friendship with people on campus. And he was getting let in to various groups again and again. And, you know, that's part of what makes this story so remarkable. He was walking into the front door.
Baker said he'd been removed from the campus several times, but then had returned. In San Francisco, I'm Ed Baxter. This is Bloomberg Great World, Brian.
And thanks very much. 38 minutes past the hour. We are reminded of that every day. Let's get to Dan Schwartzman and look at sports. So Barcelona legend makes a shocking announcement. That announcement, Mr. Schwartzman.
Yeah, really shocking here. Legend Gerard Piqué, Brian, announcing his retirement from the club after 14 years as a first-team member, and he will play his final home match at Camp Nou this Saturday versus Almeria. A Barca fan grown up, Piqué joined Barcelona's academy in 1997 before leaving for Manchester United for 4 years in 2004, before returning to Camp Nou for good in 2008. The 35-year-old has made 615 appearances across all competitions for the La Liga Giants, winning 8 league titles and 3 Champions Leagues, while also winning the World Cup with Spain in 2010, also viewed widely as one of the best of his position in our generation. World Series continuing tonight, Game 5 in Philadelphia. Phillies and the Astros tied at 2 games apiece. Houston, who no-hit the Phillies in Game 4, have Justin Verlander on the mound, with the Phillies countering with Noah Syndergaard. Eagles looking to stay on the field in Philadelphia on the road to Houston Texans on Thursday Night Football. Philly is 7-0, while the Texans are 1-5-1 and have lost 2 straight games. Multiple reports say that Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is looking to buy the Washington Commanders, with media mogul Jay-Z as a partner. The sources saying Bezos is willing to pay over $5.5 billion for the team. Private equity billionaire Josh Harris is also expected to make a bid if the team hits the market as expected, with co-owners Dan and Tanya Snyder hiring Bank of America Securities on Wednesday to explore a possible sale. I'm Dan Schwartzman. That's your Bloomberg World Sports Update. Rashad.
Thank you so much for that, Dan. Just looking forward to, of course, that all-important jobs report coming out a bit later on Friday. We are looking at unemployment to just risen a tad to about, 3.6% from 3.45% before. At the same time, it's looking at the headline number. The U.S. economy expected ultimately to have created something in the region of, I think, 189,000 jobs. This is Bloomberg.
This is Tom Keene.
I'm Jonathan Farrow.
And I'm Lisa Abramowitz.
Join us tomorrow morning for Bloomberg Surveillance.
After the Powell press conference, it's Jobs Day. We have Randall Krosner of the University of Chicago